Questions, comments, concerns?
I love Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's hard when one of us has a library skill and nobody else does.
This one was library heavy. I was giving you guys lots of options to get around that.
I mean, Steven was very
like
liberal.
That. You were very liberal with it.
Yeah, and I mean, also we had our one character and we used him.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's good for characters to be good at different things.
So I love the setting. My one complaint regarding that, though, is that it's not fun when you can't support the one person anyway, so you kind of just have to let them grind through all the checks.
Yeah.
And it's...
You can't. I think that there is a. I'll have to double check.
There is a way to help.
There's a way to help.
Okay.
But I don't remember.
I wish there was more to do when you don't have, when you're clearly not going to make a check. You do kind of become useless during.
Sometimes it's nice just to. You guys did it where there's two ways I see that a lot of people approach investigating like this. Either everyone splits up and looks for like, I'm gonna research this. Like everyone picks a different topic.
Yeah.
Right.
But the way I think is everyone should all research the same thing, so you have like three times the chances, even if you're just garbage library use. There's a chance that you get that 0-1, and you're like yes, and then you check it, and then you get better.
Yeah, that's true. And
That's true.
I don't know. I also I know mechanically feeling like you're useless isn't great, but I'd like to take those opportunities to roleplay something.
You're gonna have your moment here. This next.
I think
my library used to go be garbage in the next session.
I'm not worried about that. I think it'd be more fun if you, with all RPGs, if you aren't as punished or as useless in certain scenarios.
Sure.
And maybe there'd be if there was any kind of mechanic that allowed you to have a 20% success 100% of the time versus a 80% success 100% of the time.
Certain things you have a base chance on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody has a base.
Oh no, I don't mean being
is.
right. You're not literally useless. I'm thinking more of it'd be more fun if it was built so if you had a 20% chance, then there was a good chance you'd receive a redacted version of the information with only 20% of the information.
That's interesting.
And it's not enough to really be useful, but it is enough to feel like you're...
That'd be cool. I just wouldn't know how to prep
That's
that.
that's something you'd see in a video game. Unfortunately, that would mean Steven would have to prep
That's
redacted
exactly what the
versions.
video game version of this would be, though.
By the way, Call of Cthulhu video game coming out in 2018.
I'm so excited. I've seen pictures for it, and it doesn't quite look like as much investigation, because that's my favorite part, is shuffling through because I'm sure you guys have. This is one of the few where we've gotten everything. You guys have a probably complete picture of what happened and what's going on. That is what I love about this game, is you peel back the layers and you discover what the story is, and then you go to sort of the climax.
Yeah. It's a lot of Call of Cthulhu is interesting because it always has those two distinct phases where you're gathering information, and then it's sort of all climaxes and spooky shit happens, and
And the thing is too that Call of Cthulhu does have this. You kind of either build an investigator who's more investigative heavy or more exploratory heavy, and I think with Salazar is more investigative heavy, whereas Eugene's probably more combat heavy, or at least
definitely.
More sneaking, more stealth, or sneaking stealth.
I definitely built him to be
more combat side, because he is ex-soldier.
You have to pick and choose your
and that's the thing, and you're gonna come in really handy, especially if we get hurt or things of that nature. Where all of most of my skills come in sleight of hand and climb, and I have a lot of those kinds of things. Fast talk is another one that I have, but I'm not good at checks, and I'm good at sneaking. That's how I kind of built my character around.
I got some questions.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that opening? The asylum, was that fun? Was that creepy?
That was creepy.
Did it help set the mood?
I think I pushed us right into it.
What I really like about this adventure is that it does start with a little bit of creepy stuff.
Yeah,
you get the creepy in the beginning, so it's not like you're some guy just says, "Hey, look at my house, it's pretty scary," and you're like, "Well, we're gonna go to the library first." It's this is fun because you get to show up at the scary place. We get to establish that it's scary. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to pick this adventure, because we could start with the scary, and then we could learn what's going on, and then we could get to the ritual.
Oh man, I'm excited.
I like that the asylum is a character itself.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Especially like old buildings seem to be like characters. So I like that this adventure is putting the asylum as its own character.
I wrote all the stuff that I read. That's all me.
Yeah, I figured that was probably.
That's awesome. Even
that's
these?
great.
Not those.
Oh, okay.
The handouts, but the little, some of the little ones.
The ones like you can see, these ones were clearly typed.
Some of those I wrote. Some of them are taken right from the book, but just trying to inject some
good
creepiness into it.
I liked your descriptors of the drive up. Was that in the book?
No.
Or was that? Yeah, I thought your initial description as we were approaching the asylum, I really liked. That was really solid.
My very first note that I ever wrote for this campaign: amphitheater, West Wing. First note.
You're just so smart.
Well, no, it was just because he was like, oh yeah, there's an amphitheater. I'm like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
I wanted to make it not obvious, but put it in your guys' head so it shows up later.
Sure.
So I'm glad that worked.
Yeah. But so it was just like, But maybe it's just when playing Cthulhu so often or playing with you, I know
Another thing, just like in general, I know games like this, it's easy to get focused on passing or failing checks, but I don't know. For me, and Call of Cthulhu can be particularly good at this. This is a vehicle to tell a story, and if you fail a check, it's not just like a dead end slammed in your face. It's your character didn't find anything in the fiction, and they probably, as far as they know, they don't think, oh, I just didn't look hard enough. They go, oh, there's nothing here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Well, and sometimes you don't know. Like all the stuff about there's nothing about Andrew McBride in this whole game.
So like the dead ends was just like okay.
Yeah. There is one more thing about Andrew McBride. I'll give this to you guys at the start of the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. I found this under my car.
Probably at the end. Probably at the end of next one actually.
Okay.
I'll give it to you at the end.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe not.
Maybe we'll all die.
We'll have to see. Yeah, that's true. Part 2, questions, comments, concerns.
I was not really sure how to approach that because it didn't really give us an opportunity for sneaking, which I feel Call of Cthulhu is more geared towards rather than combat.
Okay.
Because for me, hearing like, oh, there's a procession of people, it's like, maybe you can have some kind of distraction or maybe like you can grab him during the procession, but it just went by so fast that we didn't really get that chance, and then things just kind of started escalating. Sure. So for me, it felt like, well, the only option that we have is to do something super combative. And I think where we kind of fell short is we were trying to push this gurney through, but it would have just been easier to just cut him and we run.
Maybe a little bit.
I don't know. I don't know. This is a situation I've encountered in Call of Cthulhu several times. Usually, like, rituals are fairly common in sessions of Call of Cthulhu, and it's almost always like a large group of cultists doing something similar, and you have a small group of investigators, and it is always like, well, how do we try to infiltrate this? Do we try to and we ended up going for a fairly direct approach. It also felt like things were moving very quickly, so we did kind of a much more direct thing in that situation. I don't know if it would have done anything, but I really wish I had you try to like scratch that symbol that you knew into like the side of the aquarium again or something. Or not aquarium, but the
reservoir.
The reservoir.
Yeah.
I just wanted to try something to that effect. I don't know if it would have worked or not.
So the spell obviously like is create elder sign.
Oh yeah.
Which that is would be my dream, is that you guys can make an elder sign and put it there. But obviously, like with the level that you sort of have to know.
If this had been
longer than this one session, then we could have gone to Arkham and gone and like looked at the Necronomicon and lost the sanity and learned how to do the elder sign and go back and build a disc and and that would have been. That would have been super cool to lay the elder sign in. So then again,
It's hard to do it all in one session.
Hard to do in one, especially, and it's difficult for your characters. Sort of have to like survive once. You have to find one tome to know like to look for more tomes.
Yeah.
Unless you go like, I'm gonna make an occult roll, because there's like this conceit maybe that I'd probably let happen is like, can I make an occult roll to know that Arkham's got the Necronomicon, like a book of spells?
Yeah.
So that could have been an avenue, but no, I don't. I don't disagree with what you're saying. They don't really offer at least as kind of as this is written, as much of a stealthy option, and that is something that happens in a lot of these adventures where there's a ritual, and they sort of want you to have these overwhelming odds.
Yeah.
I was really pulling for you guys but those luck rolls, and they just fucked you. So
I just felt no one could. I didn't roll over like an 80 for my last 5 rolls.
I cannot believe it. And I was on fire, and so I mean that's. It's called Cthulhu.
Yeah, it did start to feel like kind of a slog as we were like slowly running our way out there, but.
I like that. It felt like I felt the overwhelming presence of these of our circumstances weighing in on us as we're just keep failing trying to get out of there. I don't know. Twice.
It was I just felt
This is my third time playing Call of Cthulhu, and I think it's a total RPG drag. Like, I feel like I'm fighting the system the whole time. And it's never been rewarding, still to this day. I come out not feeling like I've accomplished anything. And
that's kind of the point of this system, though, is you're not really heroic. If you try to be heroic, you die. Like it's not Dungeons and Dragons. You're not this super powerful being that you can go against odds and you can survive. But Call of Cthulhu, it's like you kind of have to be sneaky, but then it does this weird thing where it puts you with insurmountable odds, and yet it's like, well, every time I create a character, I just have it in my head of, oh, I'm not going to survive. Yeah. It's a reward to survive. Yeah. That's kind of the point.
Here's a little thing, because you talked about there's no way to stealth it. There's no real reward, and that's the thing about the game, is that it's not just that you're not superheroes, right? But it's also that you're going to lose. Figure out how you can cut your losses the most, right? Like, you guys probably could have made it out and survived had you.
We should have tried to.
Had you just left Larry, or once you saw that there were a lot of them have just gone, oh my God, Larry, I'm so sorry, and we're gonna watch our friend die to live another day.
Yeah, we didn't have to go in after Larry.
I think that's what ends up frustrating me with this system, or maybe it's the stories in the system, or whatever. Is that it feels like you win the most by never playing. Narratively.
Sure, you're right. Yeah. But that's the genre.
If we had been like, wow, something's really spooky down here.
If this was an H.P. Lovecraft story, it would be from the perspective of one of us. We wouldn't have gone in to save the ritual. It would have been like, we watched Frank get murdered and these horrible things happened, and now here I am with my shattered sanity writing down this horrific account of what just happened to me.
And then there's a version of this where we watch Larry when we realize, holy shit, there's too many of them, we can't do anything about this. We see the dragon form, we watch Larry get torn limb from limb, and then we say, how do we stop this? We have to track down this symbol.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
So I think that there's a whole mind shift thing that you have to sort of think about, because there is this hesitation to be like, no, we can get him out, we can do this. If we get one, I just need some good luck rolls to get through.
I think part of it was also the knowledge that it was a one shot sort of influenced how reckless I was gonna. If I knew that we were gonna have later sessions, I might have lived to fight another day on that one. Yeah, but I kind of just went for it.
I mean, part of the thing for me is that it's our whole point, we're trying to save Larry, right? And it felt to me a little bit like, if we don't, maybe this is my D&D senses kicking in, it's if we don't go, we're not taking the hook. Like, if we don't go, we're not acting on the story. We aren't making choices.
We were still gonna go. It just.
But that's what I mean.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Maybe it is the fact that there's a one shot that like had us all re-gearing our like minds to like take the hook really strongly instead of thinking about like our actions and how we can like solve the problem.
The hook is to go. Mm-hmm. The hook is not to win.
Yeah.
The hook is not to save the world, it's to learn the world's in peril.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I see what you mean by like, if we don't save Larry, we're not fulfilling the story.
Right.
But that's sort of the genre of these stories, is that, you know, it's not, you're not necessarily meant to save him. Like, again, it's very within the genre of Lovecraft to just watch your friend get torn limb from limb by this insane asylum, but you're okay. Like, you're ruined, or at least like you're like, well, now I gotta check myself into a mental asylum myself. I kind of was thinking like the irony now of this situation is Larry is insane, and he's got to go back to the insane asylum. Like that is his end. Is he's got to go back to the madhouse that you rescued him from.
Oh, I thought he and Salazar were just going to hide in his apartment forever.
Well,
I'm leaving as soon as he falls asleep.
yeah, and that's
James boys are
I think
so
that
lucky.
would have been like a more rewarding end is if we all ended up. Maybe it's just like the way we met our demise was so sudden. It felt like I wasn't having like an impact as I felt like it was on rails. I guess it felt like my death was certain, and my effect on the world was none.
Yeah,
And
is the tennis ball explosion thing that's written into the encounter? It just builds, and that's how. Yeah. So like if we were standing on the outside, it would have just crunched all the cultists.
You have four rounds. I've been checking them off.
Okay,
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I was just curious if you would.
Last round.
You were. I said you were on the edge because you guys were really out of. You have four. You have to sort of get four rounds to get out. So I said, okay, a quarter of the way rather than doing it in yards or something like that. So you were 3 out of the 4. Everyone else was 2 out of the 4. I was gonna just round, right? So, but then when everyone failed their last one, it's like. Okay, I didn't want to crush you guys by the tennis ball because that's so not a fun way to go. I wanted you to be just on the outside of it and watch everyone else get crunched by the tennis ball.
Yeah. I would have rather been torn limb from limb by cultists.
Or like ended up in the insane asylum.
That would have been great.
Fun too. Is like maybe like as far as like the narrative goes, like I would have liked it better if like the ball like threw you into the underworld or something like crazy like that. Or like
just
I would just like if the dragon did anything. Like,
he did make he makes the
crunchy ball.
Yeah, but like he could have just like eaten everybody or like done
something.
But he didn't.
Because he's vast and unknowable.
Yes.
Fair.
I feel like just dying was like there wasn't enough like.
It's I mean, it's not the most narrative. Like Call of Cthulhu, I like it. It's not the most narrative system sometimes. Like sometimes the way that the die fall and stuff, it just makes things silly a lot of the time.
I mean, it's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not even a tragedy. It's just a horror show. Like, people don't die and they don't get their comeuppance. They don't have ironic deaths. They just stare at a painting too long and go to dinosaur times.
I know. Feels like work.
I know.
And then get torn apart by lizard people.
Yeah. And then get torn apart by and we can.
You don't know that.
What would be fun? I think what would totally change like the whole like system for me is if you could attack the same story with multiple characters.
And that's how a longer run.
And then ultimately solve it. Like ultimately.
Next campaign.
If we had a longer game going, we would, and everybody except for Brian would make a new character.
Yeah.
Salazar
this is the
would.
Perfect situation.
Yeah.
Session 2, Salazar says, "Guys, I need your help." There's this. Yeah, and that's session 2.
That would make it. That would change everything for me. I think
that's why you gotta play more than one session.
The idea that this is
the
end for this one adventure, though. See, I think like this single adventure, or like.
Well, it doesn't have to be.
We could come
dark
back.
Forces in general.
We could come back next week and. Everyone has a new character. Salazar assembles a new team.
Yeah.
And you guys go to, I have a new session prepped where at the end of it, you find a book that has the Elder Sign. Like that's what it is.
I feel like
and then
ultimately,
and then Dr. Berger's either alive or dead, and eventually, like you do the ritual to seal this guy away, to seal the dragon away for forever.
Yeah.
And you might have to go through 2 or 3 characters to do it, though.
Yeah. Right. That's why we have the wall.
That's why we have the death wall.
Yeah. I'm not attached to my character. I think I'm more like I feel like deprived of the story.
Totally.
Like, I feel like I watched like the.
That's why I love like which is why you should play Orient. We should play Orient Express because that's what
the
it
Orient
is.
Express.
Is Orient Express is a huge adventure that like you can have characters. There's like one shots within there that are like take place in medieval Britain.
Yeah.
And your characters are probably going to die in it. And you know that. But it's for you as a player, there's an overarching mystery that character's death adds to the mystery.
And I think that's when Call of Cthulhu is at its strongest. Yes. There are some really well written, like large scale campaign mysteries. And like Master of Nyarlathotep and Horror on the Orient Express, and like I think that is when the system is at its strongest. Is when you're unraveling this huge thing, often over multiple characters. Sometimes one character gets lucky and survives for a really long time. Sometimes everybody
die.
Sometimes everybody dies, and like their pen pal has to go looking for them.
That's why for long campaigns, like. In this case, I would tell you would play your newspaper editor.
Yes.
You would play your wife. And you would play like an old army buddy who are like, what happened to our friends?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Where did they go? Or like a sweetheart back home or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to solve this mystery and you're like, well, we can't save them, but we can avenge them.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what this needs for me.
Then we just got to keep playing.
We gotta play more. Yeah. It feels like we were like 15 minutes into the action movie, and the credits rolled, and then we're like...
That's why I really want to do a TV show, which
it's not an action movie, it's a horror movie.
Well, horror movie, but then like...
I really want to do a TV show
like
where there is it's sort of like What If True Detective, the detectives kept dying. Like, what if they kept getting murdered? And so you'd have like, these characters that seem like people might go next session. The investigators aren't safe, and that's what's fun. Is it's bigger than one character. Where D&D, like that's why you have levels, because it's about your growth. Your characters like leveling up. They're achieving the pinnacle of level 20, where they are God. And this is the opposite, where it's like humanity is clawing against gods, and we are only able to make up those inches by just endless bodies.
Yeah. I think I'm good now.
My
mentality has changed that it requires...
It can feel so defeating in a one-shot where you're like, well, I didn't,
That was especially crushing at the end when we all just kept failing those rolls. And
Pun intended.
Anything else?
Good job, guys.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Good job.
Now we just have to get out of this basement.
Yeah, how do we get out of here?
I think we're already out. This is questions, comments.
You're right.
It'll be a separate.
It's a good thing we escaped.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we escaped and came back.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for watching Questions, Comments, and Concerns. This has been a special Halloween question comment. This is probably like November.
Yeah. Happy All Saints Day, everybody.
We're going to be hopefully doing more of these one-shots like this, so be sure to subscribe and hit the little notification icon so that you'll be notified when we put these videos out. Thank you guys for your continued support. Please check out our Patreon, which is where so much of this fun stuff is possible. This whole awesome basement set is possible because of your guys' support of us and our channel. So thanks, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.